join us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the
Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code is amended, known as the Texas Open Meetings Act.
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Any members of the public who wish to speak should each have 3 minutes to address the court. Mr. Morgan.
Good morning, Judge Grant. I'm Charles Morgan. I'm a professional engineer, and I've been in the engineering business 55 years. And I've been all over the world, the military. Built 4 Air Force bases in 1 year. And there were people that said, how did you do that? Because we know what we're doing. What I'm talking about today is the vibroacoustic disease, which is in this county. And our doctors don't even know about it. I've researched it through Canada, Australia, Great Britain, several different countries, and they know about this vibroacoustic disease. It's a low-frequency noise that most people can't hear. I'm one of the 5% that hear it. And just because you don't hear it doesn't make you're not affected. There's been studies done in Pennsylvania where babies are terribly harmed. And then here in Texas, in Fort Worth, you got a huge hospital over there just for babies. They're being damaged in their insides. And so it's a terrible thing. And I want to make it a point that I know what the heck I'm talking about. I've done the research. I've been affected myself, been to the hospital 3 times, brain damage, and then last week I almost had it again. And I got to the hospital and before they get damaged me too very badly. So it's real. And I got a brochure out here on in the entryway. So anyway, I just want to let you know that I'm not just pulling the wool over somebody's eyes. I'm telling the truth. I've done the research, and so you better listen, because you could have it also and not really know it, because you can't hear it. Only 7% of people can hear low-frequency noise. So it's a dangerous thing. I estimate there's going to be 2.6 million people in Texas that's going to be damaged with low-frequency noise. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak this morning? All right. We'll go to item number 1, which is to approve the minutes of the December 6th and December 18th meetings.
I think the 6 meetings is in one.
That's what I was looking for.
The 6 isn't completed. We'll have to do it next
All right, we're
time.
just going to do the 6th, or the 6th this morning.
Do the 18th.
18th
Yeah.
this morning. Yeah, there we go.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 18th meeting. I second.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed? None. Motion carried.
Judge, before we go to number 2, on item number 15, could we move that up right quick? Because I know our IT guy has a meeting to be on at 10 o'clock.
Sure.
After that, I'd like to move 16 up to.
All right, let's do number 15, and we'll go to 16.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Pretty much what Dane is giving us, our original quote for the laptops for the deputy cars had come in at Was it 56,000 down the
It's original on the laptops was 65,000. Those first three line items, I got a tick on page 2. Go to the second page of what I gave you there. If you go to the first three line items, the first three line items were all the laptop costs associated, warranty, extended warranties and such. So it came out to roughly 75,000.
So the new price, what he's done is we can get computers that are twice as large as far as.
I'm having them built, basically going to, the original quote was for 500, and I'm going to a terabyte on the hard drive, and upgrading the memory to 512 from what they originally had, 256. So we're basically getting a rebuilt, stronger computer, almost twice as much as what the original quote was for a substantial savings.
So we're from 75 to 21.8 if we go with the refurb, which are upgraded to a full terabyte and more memory. You get 2 times the computer. You get the same warranty. It's 2-year warranty on the new ones. It's 2-year warranty on the refurb ones. But we went from 75,000 to 21.8 plus $100 per unit would be about another 1,500 for the GPS on there.
Yeah, I've got to, I'm waiting for a phone quote on the GPS chip install and probably buy extra batteries.
So do you need a motion?
I just need to know that you guys are okay moving with refurbished versus new. There's a substantial savings. It's going to cover some other costs that at the end of it, our net savings after installation, everything's going to be about $28,000 doing this, but it's covering some other costs that weren't maybe originally factored.
So the insurance, these are just as good as the new ones?
They come with a 2-year warranty, having it built or refurbished. Now, I mean, you know, they are refurbished, and that's the question to the court. If we want to go, if we want to spend the 75 on the brand new ones, we can. They're going to come with basically a 2-year warranty. And then you got to buy, as you can see on the quote, extended warranty. So you can almost buy replacements cheaper, you know, for the price point you're buying them. If one did go bad, it's got a 2-year warranty on there. So if anything goes wrong, replace, no charge. Otherwise, we just buy another one at $1,000 and the savings.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's it. Thank you, guys.
We'll now go to item number 16, which is to consider a final plat for Shadow Pine Division. Lots 1 through 10.
Yes, ma'am, this is down in Wildwood. We've all signed it, complete the coffee stain. And there's a tax certificate right there where the taxes have been paid.
Okay.
Get your signature, be good to go.
Is that a motion to approve that?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Just move.
Thank you.
Tax certificate. stay.
Oh, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas to you, thank you. You bet. Thank you.
I guess they notified you to the clerk.
Beth was taking them.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. We'll go back to item number 2, which is budget transfers and amendments.
I'll make a motion to approve budget transfers and amendments.
And the service.
And also the unanticipated funds that were received, $1,000 from Virginia Richards.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And also $100 from Butch and Jackie Hansel in memory of Gladys Underwood.
Yeah, I had that too.
Okay, I'll second.
I missed that. Okay.
All in favor, aye?
Uh,
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Did you get these certifications?
I did not have,
I only have one.
Okay.
Three is to approve and pay bills.
That's the main thing. So all that accelerate vegetation, that goes out. Could get, lose some 20, That's my answer to that.
make a motion to pay the bill.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 4 is payroll.
I make a motion to approve payroll.
We do have admin leave on the one that ended on November 25th.
I think it's three to sign. 2 or 3?
2.
Two,
2.
we already signed.
I have a motion.
Yes.
And a second.
Yeah, I make a motion, yeah.
You made the motion?
Second.
You made a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 5 is reports. We have a report from the auditor for the month of November. We also have the treasurer's report covering that period of time also. JP3 report. District for November. County clerk report for November. Any other reports?
Make a motion to approve the reports.
I second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 6, burn ban.
No action.
No action.
No action. Number 7, road use agreements. Anyone have one? If not, no action. Number 8, approve bonds and education certificates. I do have one for the education training with the District 8 County Judges and Commissioners for Andy Bonner, 7 1/4. I also have a 20-hour Justice of the Peace seminar in Galveston for Cinnamon Archibald, and a bond for the sheriff, $8,000. Motion to approve these.
I'll make the motion.
I make a motion to approve bonds and education certificates.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. All right. I'll probably sign that one.
Okay.
Item number 9 is a public hearing on a possible tax abatement agreement between Freestone County and Fairway Storage LLC. Mr. Dixon,
Listen,
are we going into the public hearing right now?
yes, let's go ahead and go into the public hearing, and then I'll start it off with the house.
At 9:31, we're going into the public hearing. All right.
Well, Fairway Storage LLC has put an application for a tax abatement. Their project would be a 120 megawatt battery energy storage facility and related equipment. It's approximately a 66 acre zone. It's reinvestment zone number 4 that we've previously approved, and it's within Fairfield ISD. And this reminder, these projects are 100% taxable to the school districts. So that's good for the school districts. Projected capital investment of approximately $90 million, a yearly pilot of $130,000. The additions and improvements are expected to be done by the end of 2026. I gave you all tax abatement agreements. Essentially, there's one change I told you, the road use agreement is a work in process over time. Instead of the fine language I had in there, which makes it incumbent on us to try to keep up with it and watch over it and all that, I put the onus back on them. They have to train their contractors and subcontractors and have policies and have penalties against their subcontractors and contractors if they violate the rules. And the downside for them is if they're not doing that and we keep having people on undesignated roads, then we'll suspend their road use agreement until they get it in gear. Okay? That's the description of the project, and now they'd open it up for comments from citizens.
All right, are there any comments for this public hearing, for this abatement agreement between Freestone County and Fairway Storage LLC? Yes.
I just have one question. It's not necessarily about the abatement, but what is the vicinity of the school to this storage facility?
I've got people.
It's,
Well, go ahead.
It's out here north of town,
Okay,
behind the peach orchard.
okay.
behind Cooper's Peach Orchard.
So is the distance,
Oh,
Andy,
yeah.
do you know the distance?
Maybe it'll look right at a mile, wouldn't it?
3 miles, yeah, 2 miles.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, that's
Yes,
all I
ma'am.
needed to know.
Any other comments? If not, will we go out of the public hearing at
At 9:35.
9:35. Then we will go to item number 10, which is to discuss and take action on a tax abatement agreement between Freestone County and Fairway Storage LLC.
Yes, and like I said, we have copies of the agreement. There was a minor change on the road use agreement. I've got signature copies here, and there's only 2 of them. And we just ask you to consider approval of this. Like the others, it's an investment for down the road that will be done until the end of 2026, but you've got a lot of development that's going to go online.
And just for the public, that some people are here that probably haven't heard, the rest of the agreement is, the abatement is of the property taxes, but there is a pilot program that is part of this, which those same amounts will be paid under what's called a pilot program. So it's not just
Essentially, they pay
abating.
70% of the tax revenues back. So it's essentially a 30% abatement.
Yes, thank you.
Based on the current rate.
Yes,
Okay.
but no, yes,
Yeah.
yes, based on the current rate.
3-1, okay.
And Judge, you can get with them and sign it after the
Oh,
meeting.
okay, all right,
And just have Beth send it to me.
all right, we'll do that, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming this morning. And did we vote on the 10?
Have not.
Do we have a motion and a second?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Motion carried. Okay. Now we're at item number 11, which is a resolution for the courthouse. And we do have some people here that would like to support. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Let's have our people that are here this morning to talk about the project. Would you like to come up and give your thoughts first, and then we'll have our architect talk? Or would you like to give your, I think we all know y'all, but as you're going to speak, if you would just give your name and then a little bit about how you participate in all of our historical.
Good morning, Judge Grant, commissioners, visitors. My name is William Shelton. I'm the chairman of the Freestone County Historical Commission. I'm here with the elected officers of the Freestone County Historical Commission, Vice Chairman Brad Pullen, Treasurer Diane Pullen, and Secretary Angela Oglesby. And we are here today to express our support and the support of the entire Freestone County Historical Commission for the restoration project for the courthouse. We have designated Angela to speak on our behalf.
Thank you.
Okay, so to begin with, I have watched the December the 6th video, and Commissioner Bonner, you are my commissioner. Thank you so much for putting the motion on the table. I understand why you didn't get a second and it was tabled. I don't really know what the whole resolution said, but I know that there was concern about the funding for the county. I know that for this particular grant, it's an 85-15% match. I also know that my mother-in-law over in St. Augustine County worked for years to get a grant from the Texas Historical Commission to redo their courthouse. It took them 4 rounds to get their grant. The state of Texas, for the upcoming 2 years, have only appropriated $45 million. So they do not do very many courthouses every 2 years. If we are chosen on the first round, I would really be surprised, honestly, if we're chosen on the first round. Just because there are so many that are trying to get these grants. William, do you remember what was the number I just showed you on my phone of how many have been completed? Of the
78.
78 have only been totally restored out of 254. And this program started, I believe, in the early 2000s. So the state does realize that, you know, these historical buildings do need to be restored, but the state has other things that are more pressing. So I just wanted to share that with you. If y'all get it the first round, I'm going to be celebrating with y'all on that. I also looked at the master plan. I know what it says in there, the cost, but that was for 2021. It was right around 3.9 million, so you might as well say 4. You know, that's not realistic. 2 years, I mean, that's not a realistic number today. And I put that to paper. Even at 4 million, that's like $600,000 you have to come up with. So let's say it's 5 million. You know, that's 750 that you have to come. 750,000. I would think though, because you probably
interject.
Yes,
Add
ma'am.
something in that.
Yes, ma'am.
And the architect will be talking about that in a few minutes, but the plan is to do it in phases.
Yes.
To do the outer part first, and then maybe the next year to do a floor or 2 within the grant process still. But that way it would spread it out a little more.
Yeah, that was my understanding too, that you could spread that whole amount out over a period of years, several years. And I would think also maybe if you know that you're going to do this, you could start, and I know that's I'm on city council, I'll just disclose that if y'all don't know. So saving money, I understand is hard. I really do, because there's so much that's pulling for all your funds. So I understand that. But I just think to not go after this grant, and if this resolution is the next step in the process, I would strongly encourage you to please sign the resolution and move forward with it, please. Because our courthouse is beautiful. When I was up here on December the 2nd at the Live Nativity, oh my goodness. I am so blessed to live here, where we can have a nativity, we can have a cross on our grounds. It is just, it's overwhelming to me. So that's it. If you have any questions of us, please, we're here to help you. We would love to see this happen. We really would. Do y'all have anything to add?
I'd just like,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I'd just like to say, I am not from here. Brad's family is from here. And when we moved here, I was so impressed with this building. And I'm proud to be a part of it now. I'm involved in the community. And I would hate to see it crumble and have to be bulldozed down just because we didn't move forward. I am really proud of this, and I love my family coming and seeing it, and I'm just proud.
It really is the heart and soul of this county. And when you come up here on those events, And I thank y'all for allowing the city to have our events here. We have a lot of events. Probably 8, I think I listed them in some of my notes, but throughout the year here on these grounds. And thank y'all for allowing us to decorate it. I mean,
I appreciate that so much. Y'all do take care of that, I really do. It's
and we
a
were
blessing to all
just
of us.
excited when y'all agreed to even help us with the lights on the columns. So, I mean, I just can't say enough for this courthouse. I really can't. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Your Honor, this is the 4th courthouse that has occupied this site in Freestone County. None of the previous 3 stood for longer than 30 years before they had to be demolished. That speaks to the structural integrity of our existing courthouse. Since we have that firm of a foundation, why would we not want to invest the funds in order to restore and perpetuate this building, as opposed to the idea, a horrible contemplation of having to build a 5th courthouse on this site? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all for coming
Thank you.
today.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna have our architect now, if he would come and visit with us about the process a little bit.
Hi, my name's Sterling Thompson. I'm with architectural firm Sterling and Camp in Wakefield. This Commissioner's Court has already made some pretty big steps towards moving forward with restoring this building. A couple of years ago, you hired us to do the courtroom. You did that restoration and worked with THC real closely on what they required to do to bring it back to its former life. You also hired us to do a master plan a couple of years ago. Big step. That master plan is one of the first requirements that THC requires to move forward with restoration like this. Our firm had never done one of those. Judge Grant had some trust in us to do that, and we didn't think we would get that thing passed through the first time. But there are very few master plans that have been passed through on the first go-around. Yours was. We got that through the THC, they've approved that. The next step is y'all hired us to create construction drawings, which is one of the next steps that you have to go through to get to that step where we can apply for a grant money. We're right now in the process of doing that. Those 2 things count towards this whole process, the money you're spending with us to do that. I've got engineers that have studied the structure. We've looked at the things that are going on outside, the water issues, the life safety issues are a concern for us. The accessibility to the building, accessible restrooms, those kinds of things. And then just the historical aspect of the architecture here. There's I don't know if you know it, but there's another county that has almost an exact replica of this building. It's Lynn County up in the Panhandle. Yeah, they just went through a restoration process of their own and brought it back. Looks, really nice, the things they've done there. They had to do a lot more things than you're going to have to do right at this time. They didn't have an elevator. They had to figure out a way to do it. They had to restore their whole city block, the court area outside. Our process would have a little bit of that, but not to the extent that they had to do it. Their budget, their expenditure of the grant that they got was $5 million. They ended up spending $8 million. That was 2 years ago. With the things that we're seeing here, we're thinking our budget is going to be higher than we had in our master plans. Like we said, it's been 2 years now. Prices of things, as you know, just have gone crazy with construction. And there are a couple of things that we didn't really think about or know until we started investigating things here. You've got some issues that really need to be addressed. There's water issues. I mean, you can see behind you where the wall is falling apart. It's happening on basically all 4 corners. There's a structural column down in the basement that really concerns us. It's deteriorating at the base. You can see the rebar inside, the concrete's falling off of it. The beam above it is doing the same thing. So you've got some structural issues. There are parts falling off of the capitals outside. So we've got life safety concerns. Probably one of my biggest concerns is that this building doesn't have a fire sprinkler system. The fourth floor is basically a fire trap. I mean, there's one exit out of that fourth floor. And, you know, that's a big concern. Building codes require 2 exits. I don't think we'd have to change that, but installing a fire sprinkler system, I think is going to be a must in this building. That's going to be a pretty good chunk of change to have to get that done. We've looked at the air conditioning system, the electrical system that need to be brought back up to code. So there's a good amount of money that needs to be spent on things that aren't going to make this look pretty. You know, it's going to be hidden. Air conditioning, piping, all that stuff has to be looked at. But it's going to make this building function for the next 120 years. You know, so this commission has the chance to move this process with this resolution. I don't think with this resolution, you're not tying yourself into spending anything. It just takes us to the next step to allow us to present this to THC, present our plans that we're producing, make the application, find out what the costs are, and then see if we can get that grant. If, let's say you're awarded this grant the first time, then you still have to enter into the contract with the state. Anywhere between now and then, this can all be put to a stop. So you're not, with this resolution, saying we're going to spend a certain amount of money. You're just letting us move forward to find out what that might be. But I will say, if we go in and ask for $6 million, they're going to give you 85% of that. That would mean we'd have to come up with $750,000, $800,000. The money you've already spent can count toward that. I mean, so you've already spent, by the time we pay the consultants and figure in the cost that was done, making the master plan, some of the work that's already been done.
Like the renovation of the courtroom, maybe?
The courtroom is a question. They have a timeline of how far back you can go with what you spent. And in the past, it's been 3 years. So we're beyond that. But I think there's some other things we can consider in there. So you may have already gotten close to that 15% with what you've already spent. So I think you just have a great opportunity right now with this court already getting approved, the first go around, to get this money, possibly the first time, through this next step. And like I said, we're going to phase this thing. We've set up the plans in phases. The exterior, the windows, the life safety issues being one of the biggest concerns. And then coming inside the basement, you know, getting accessibility, the restrooms all brought up to code and those items. Then possibly move up with the top floor being probably the last thing we might do. You know, there are some of the systems, like the sprinkler system, some of that it's going to save you money if we can do all those things at one time. You know, phasing some of those things start costing you more as you do those things. But those are things we're trying to work out right now. We've hired a restoration consultant to look at the things on the outside, the mortars. You know, they've been patched in different ways outside. The columns where they're falling apart. They're going to come in and do an analysis of all that stuff, give us direction on that, and then follow. You know, if the grant is approved, they'll follow all the way through construction, making sure it's done in the proper manner. So I would really urge you to take this step, move forward with this, so that we can start finding out what it's going to cost to do this, what you would have to commit to, put in this application to the state, and then let's try to get this money for this courthouse.
If we're not accepting Mr. Thompson on the first go-around, is there a lag time before you present it again?
We can present it the next year.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to wait a year?
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you, sir. When we renovated that room upstairs, were you a part of that renovation?
Yes.
You were? And do you know how much that renovation cost?
That was the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
We're talking, that was $570,000 approximately.
That was the first time, correct?
Yes.
Then we had to do some additional things to it, like move the floor, move some benches, some other things. Do you know what that cost was?
Did we, I don't remember having to do that. That was,
You don't?
Yeah.
Well, okay. The other question I have is, you mentioned here that it'd be $5 million and now it'd be $8 million from this other lady's statement, the 750,000. So that's $3 million. How much do you actually think it will cost Freestone County to get this done? I'm talking about money-wise.
right. My best guess right now on where we are with cost, not having completed all the drawings and having this one consultant looking at something, I think we're in the $6 to $6.5 million range. What it would cost the county is 15% of that. Math-wise, what is that? That's about 600. And you, like I've said, you've already committed to spend $225,000 of that you've spent. So that means cash-wise, you're coming up to somewhere around $400,000.
Yes, sir. And on that, in that room upstairs, and it's been a concern of mine since we did it. And it's still a concern in the fact that we spent all that money and you cannot hear anybody up there talking in that room. The acoustics is terrible. You can ask, I talked last week, I met with the district judges, the stenographer, and all those people. In the Historical Society, how do they dictate that we can't fix the windows so that people can hear in that room? Is that something that we need to request, or is that something that we can do?
Fix the windows as it
Yeah, like double pane windows, like, oh, these here are, there's window there, is got double panes in it, that one over there is wood. I mean, who decides where the windows go?
Well, that's something we're addressing right now. If you walk around this courthouse, there are different type of windows all the way around. They're gonna ask us to put them back to the original state. And we can double paint them. I mean, we can do that. That is something we can do. You just have to take the existing windows, the wood windows, they have to be readjusted with double glass. That can be done. But in rooms like this, where you've got the wire glass, they're gonna require us to keep that. Where there were bars at one time over the jail, we're gonna have to put those bars back. So we just have to restore them to their original state, the way they looked, but we can double paint them. And the issues in the courtroom, part of that is the acoustics, is the sound system. That is something that we're putting into the plans right now, is to have contingency fund in order to address adding sound system in there, to improve the acoustics and everything. I know there's also an issue of a little bit of lighting in part of this that needs to be addressed. So we're adding that back in there. And, you know, the part of the issue back when we did that was you were funding it all right out of your pocket, and we had limited funds. And we tried to pick and choose where we had spent that money to still correctly do it the way THC likes it done, and try to address all the issues we had. We fell short on the sound system.
I think you mentioned, or someone mentioned earlier, if we sign this agreement, we're not bound to it, is that correct?
You're not signing anything that says you're gonna be spending money. I mean, you're moving forward to the next step. You're saying that, yes, we want to move forward and apply for this money.
Yes, sir. Well, I know that in my instance, I have never went and bought anything or earmarked my money for something that I didn't know what it was gonna cost in the end. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We don't know what it's gonna cost.
Well, you're letting us move forward that step. We're gonna find out pretty quickly. We've targeted January 15th to have the plans complete. At that point, we will know basically everything we're going to have. We can put a pretty good number to it.
Yes, sir.
We can could probably almost put it out to bids at that point. What we have to do is turn those plans into the state at a 95% completion state. They will review those plans, and they'll get them back to us, and give us a chance to update them to whatever they say we need to be doing differently.
Yes, sir.
And then we turn them back in, I think it's by April, along with the final application. So at that point, we will know what we're requesting, how much money we think we need, what our total estimate is, what you would be committing to over a period of time. You know, we're gonna, like I said, we're splitting this up into phases. The first phase that we've identified is the exterior, the windows, the safety issues and things like that. Whatever that amount is, you'd be committing to 15% of that first phase. Then the next phase, next year, or whenever it is, you'd be committing to 15% of that. So it's gonna be spread out. It's not, you're not saying I'm gonna come up with $700,000 next summer. And, next summer is when they will award these things or tell us that we're gonna have to wait a year.
Well, I just have one other question. Do you know how much money we spent with your firm on engineering for this courthouse in the last 5 years?
So far, we did the courtroom.
Yes, sir.
I don't exactly remember how much that was. It was somewhere around 50,000, I think.
The courtroom upstairs?
That was for all the consultants
Yes, sir.
in our firm. The master plan was 50,000.
Yes, sir.
And then carrying this all the way through the process with us right now with engineers and consultants, I think it's around 160. So you're up around
$260,000 just for your services?
160 plus yeah, it is when you add it all up, about 260.
Yes, sir.
Over the
Okay,
last several
thank
years.
you.
But all of those funds that we spent, you believe can be part of that match money?
All of the things you still need, yes.
And with the structural engineers and all of that
Right,
can be part of that match money?
right.
Okay.
Now, a question on that real quick is if you said like it goes back 3 years, if they don't get approved the first 2 times they apply for this, and say 3 years pass, then does the master plan money and all that go away and can't be counted?
No, I think that's always good.
Okay.
Funds that were spent in other areas is what has that 3-year limit?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
When we originally started this process, we talked to the THC about this, and he thought at that time, the money that was spent in the courtroom could be counted. Now, it may have passed off with over time, but I've been trying to get in touch with him just to see if we can do that. I do know THC, the people there are very in favor of this county moving forward, which to me looks good. I think y'all are at a real good place in order to get some of this money.
Good discussion.
I appreciate you coming and explaining that to us.
Yeah.
I think, Ms. Angela, I think the last time when we didn't go ahead and vote with that, it was just because we did have questions, and then talking to the judge and getting Starling over here. I appreciate y'all coming and Starling coming, and it did answer my questions, and I am ready to move forward with that resolution.
I am too.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming today. We have asked for for letters from various organizations, mainly the ones that we know are, and I'm saying this, the people that might be listening out here. We've tried to contact people that we know that might want to give a letter of support. He said that's something that we can turn in with our application, showing that our county is really in support of us getting this grant and trying to restore our courthouse. So anyone else that is interested would love to have a letter in support of this application, if anyone would do that for us. We've already got, I think, one from the museum, and so if there are others that we could get, that would be great. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make it.
Second.
Motion and a second all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, none, motion carried. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Item number 12, let's see. 10, 11, 12. Agreement between Hot Cog and Freestone County for reimbursement for mental health consulting services. Now, these are for juvenile, and that fund, those funds go to the juvenile probation department. They do give some funds back, and that amount for this time is $1,392.
You said mental health was very good.
It does, it does.
Okay.
But on the agreement is for reimbursement for mental health consulting services, and that money is, whereas Freestone County Juvenile Probation Department desires to receive reimbursement for mental health counseling services for blah, blah, blah. So this was an agreement for reimbursement. It's
Okay.
a different fund that comes out of.
1392.
That's gonna be for juvenile, it's 1392.
You need a motion?
I do,
I'll make that motion to enter into this agreement. Is that what
yes.
it is?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, none, motion carries. Item number 13 is to approve the submission of the SB 22 applications for the sheriff's office and the DA office. DA's office, you know, we talked about these funds that will be available, but we do have to do an application, and so we're just going to approve that they submit those applications.
I'll make that motion.
Can I add something? Karen wanted to make sure that it was said that everybody's in charge of turning in their own grant.
Yes.
That was my understanding, so that I would turn in my,
Yes,
to get that money, but I
Yes.
appreciate it.
perfect. She
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that
Good.
everybody's on the same
Sure.
page.
That's why she put that on there, so we
See,
be
you're-
sure and do that.
He's in outside talking.
Could you ask him just to come in?
Jeremy?
We are at the, number 13, which is submission of the SB 22 applications. One is for the sheriff's office and one for the DA's office. And Karen just wanted everybody to be aware that those two offices have to be, I don't know if it's separate that you turn them in or whatever, but anyway, just so the timeline wouldn't pass and that's not everyone.
Okay, so is our office gonna be the one, am I gonna be the one to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, talk to Karen about that because the county turns in one and y'all each turn in one
Okay.
and see how that's supposed to be coordinated.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion and a
And
second.
that opens
1st of January?
I think so.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second, is that right?
I didn't get it, if they did.
Do we have?
You made a motion, didn't you?
Okay, and who
Second.
seconded it?
Second.
Okay.
All right, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 14, City of Kerwin as a municipality. All right.
Morning, Judge Grant, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm Kimberly Pelton, and I reside in Precinct 4 under Commissioner Ridge. Thank you. We have done some research and are trying to determine if Kerwin is in fact a municipality. We do not have a city council. We do not have a mayor. We do not even have a city hall. We have no first responders. We depend upon the county to provide that service to us, and as I understand it, some of our road repairs come through your budget. And so, that being said, we're trying to figure out when the city of Kerwin lost its charter. Did it lose its charter? Is it still really an acting municipality, or is it defunct?
I could not ever find anything in writing to say that it had forfeited its incorporation, not anything that officially was done.
Mm-hmm.
other than back in 1998, and this is the one that you were talking about, back in 1998. Well, let me say, it was probably 48 or 49 when the school closed. And I believe everybody that I have talked to said it was probably sometime in the 50s, maybe early 60s, but probably sometime in the 50s when they finished functioning, or stopped functioning. But I don't have anything in writing to say that. Now, in December of 1998, Bob Gage wrote an opinion, and it said, "You have requested an opinion as to whether or not you can maintain streets and alleys in the city of Kerwin, and under what circumstances. You have stated that there are no streets which are continuations of or integral to Freestone County roads." And the reason for that statement was because if they were, you could do it even, maintain them even if it was a city. But that's not the situation then. You also state that Kerwin has no active de facto city government, and that was in 1998. Doesn't say that that's when that happened, but at that point, it was not a city. It's my understanding that the city of Kerwin collects no taxes, has no police force or fire department, other than a volunteer fire department not funded by the city, and performs no street maintenance. They do, however, have a water system that was funded by the issuance of municipal bonds approximately 30 years ago. This system is currently operated by concessions without supervision from the city. It is further my understanding there are no public officials whose terms have not expired and no election was held within the past 5 years. I am also told that there has been no city council meeting since November of 1994, and at that time a quorum was not present. Now, that says he was told that. I don't know who told him that. So I don't know that there's anything official written other than whoever told him that was what they believed. And at that time, a quorum was not present. Based on this information, assuming that is substantially accurate, we believe the city of Kerwin has an active de facto municipal government. And goes on to say that since it doesn't, I'll show you the rest of it. Under Article 251.051 of the Texas Transportation Code, provides in pertinent part that the Commissioners Court of a city, county, shall assume control of the streets and alleys in a municipality that does not have an active de facto municipal government. And based on the above quoted statute and our determination that the city of Kerwin has no active de facto municipal government, it is our opinion that not only are you allowed to maintain the streets and alleys of the city of Kerwin, but that you are required to do so. This work would be at no cost to the city of Kerwin. However, since the statute states that Commissioners Court of the county shall undertake this maintenance, it's my belief that it would be proper to request the Commissioners Court to adopt a resolution authorizing this maintenance prior to any work being performed. And that was signed by Bob Gage, who was our county attorney at that time. And after this was written, we did have it on the minutes, have it on the agenda, and we did approve that. So it is in place, and that's how you maintain those city streets. Now, that's really the only written information that I have, and a lot of that was based on what was told to him. But that was back in 1998, and to our knowledge, there's not been anything else done as far as I knew trying to get the city in what's the word?
Back functioning.
Yeah, reinstated. It's not really reinstated. You'd have to do a new petition and have petition with people within we think is the city limits or was the city limits, in order to present that petition and then have a vote whether or not it should be or not.
Understood. Is that document you just read a public record?
Yes.
Could I get a copy of it as well as,
It was filed for record on December 21st, 1998.
Okay.
You can surely have a copy of this, we'll make a copy for you too.
And
You can
then-
get it at the courthouse, so
Oh,
we'll just
okay.
make a copy for you.
Oh, thank you so much. And then, a copy of the resolution that followed that to accompany that. Could I get, I can just go to the courthouse and get that as well.
Can you print that out?
I can't
No.
print their stuff on my side.
We can't print that.
That's
They
fine.
can do that.
I can just go over there and get that information from you. Perfect.
We can tell you the page number, so it'd be easier to look up. We looked at it online. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much.
I know some time ago, 5 or 6 years, 4 or 5 times slips away, but we had a house in Corbin, we talked about this, that was for sale, and Mr. Evans, you might remember this, there was a house there for sale, and part of it had been built on a Corbin, as I recall, a city, or an alleyway.
Yeah.
And so we, as a county official, had to say that we agreed to let them sell that with that house because there was a non-functioning government or the county had taken it over or whatever.
Yeah, that's correct. It was a kind of, I think labeled a defunct city. Same thing, we've done it with Donny a couple times. So I have no doubt kind of what you're saying. If I add in, kind of Bob obviously covered a lot of it there, but that it's not a functioning, my understanding is the same thing as of right now. It is not a functioning city, and we've done action since I've been in office.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Anything else about that?
No, not right now.
Okay, all right. And I know that it did say in Bob Gage's letter that there was a water system that was under the city at the time when it was operating. The only information I found, and this too was something that was told, but I feel certain that this was correct, that at one time, I don't even know the year, but it was several years ago, that the Curvin, well, actually Pleasant Grove had a request that Curvin become a part of the Pleasant Grove water supply. But Pleasant Grove did not accept it. But I know that they had asked if they would at one point.
Who asked? TCEQ or?
No, it was Peggy Sessions. She was on the board.
Was somebody from the board?
She was, yes.
But you talking the water board?
No, I'm talking about the Pleasant Grove water supply.
Oh, I know that somebody called me from TECQ that no longer works there and was asking me about it, and I said, I don't know anything about it, that was something y'all need to work out, and I get involved in that.
Well, the residents that actually live in Corbin,
Yes, sir.
where their water comes from Comm,
You write your check to Carbon Water Supply.
but they're not part of Pleasant Grove?
No.
I mean,
Pleasant Grove did not accept those lines to be part of their water supply.
So is Carbon Water Supply, is that a private company?
Yeah,
The
my
city
question
is defunct, and that's all we know.
if it was created under a municipal, I mean, really it doesn't mean run our business, but if it was created under a municipality and the municipality failed, where?
Well, that's where it is right now.
No, I'm just curious.
And that's kind of our question ultimately is, where does that, how does it work if you're not a municipality any longer? And so,
As pertaining to the water?
as pertaining to anything,
Everything.
it doesn't, I'm not calling out anything.
Yeah, I'm not
No,
complaining about
and
the water,
I'm
I'm
just
just
saying
curious.
that I didn't know that fact, and
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
yes.
And just point, you was asking, you turn your checks in to Kennedy. concessions construction. That's where the check for your water is paid each month.
And I know that's part of kind of what y'all are all looking at currently. And
Well, the other piece
situation,
of
that's all the
is
information.
that, and I'm not sure everybody does, but there is a city dump, or I'm gonna call it a city dump, because that's what's on the sign. And so we make our payments, instead of going to the dump and the county dump and due, we can go take our trash there, or you can pay the ridiculously high price that Republic offers you to come out and pick up your trash. So there's some services that kind of are trying to figure out how it all works.
And if you wanted to create the city of Curving again as a municipality, there's a statute that talks about, you know, how you get about doing a petition and then having an election.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go
Just
to
saying.
A&M and my plate is full. So I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you very much and Merry Christmas.
Just one more thing. I know when we were doing the funds for the generators for the water, or whatever for the water supplies, we looked under cities, and we did not find that Curvin was still saying it was a city. But when I looked at the PUC information, they said it was a city. But that doesn't mean it's a city, just because they said that.
Yeah, if you look in looking at the organization of the city under that company,
Comptroller.
it says that I think the mayor has been deceased for 19 to 20 years.
That's all I know. All right. Comments from commissioners, court members.
The Wheeler Controls is out there at the 911 tower today. They called and said they monitor the cell stream. That's the notification we get if the power goes off.
Yes.
And the generator has to cut on for our 911 tower. They said the signal was too weak, so they were out there today and they're gonna move something on the outside of that building so that cell signal will be stronger. So if any of y'all get a text today saying something changed on the power, it's probably gonna be because of construction. But he said that may or may not happen. Anyway, and they'll make sure that it's working right before they leave. So they're out there working on it right now.
All right, any other comments? Got a motion to adjourn.
How many people decorated their doors? I mean, who wanted, have we decided